Today I'm taking a look at a new light from Wuben with the X-1 Falcon. What I have here is a pre-production sample, but the light has been formally announced now. Wuben has been around for a while, but isn't a super well-known brand. They're not afraid to try things, and they've done that here with the X1 Falcon. It has 3 Cree XHP70.2 LEDs, followed by 2 21700 batteries side by side, in a configuration that's very rectangular, but fits in the hand reasonably well. Thanks to Wuben for sending this to me to take a look at. And if you haven't already followed me on social media, I've got all those links down below. I'd appreciate it if you do. I like to pass along deals and anything else that I see that's interesting and links to the latest content. Since this was a pre-production sample, I don't have what the final packaging is going to look like. Mine came here in a plastic case with a few extras. It came with a charging cable, this one came with C to C, which is nice to see here. No more A to C. And then it came with a lanyard. And like you guys know, I'm not a big lanyard guy, but I'll probably end up using this one. It comes with a little attachment here that allows you to clip it onto the light, if I can get a hold of it, and hold it just like that. So I'll probably use this. I like that it comes on and off easily. I suspect the full version will have a full retail box, your charging cable, and the manual says a storage bag, and your normal paperwork. I will note here that the manual I have is a little rough in the translations, and it looks like it also comes with a optional bike mount that fits on here at the bottom. The light is made from aluminum and is anodized black here. It's a bit of a unique design, being a large rectangle. The corners are angled here a little bit with areas milled in, but still some harder edges there where the screws go. I think this gives it kind of a sci-fi or future style. There's nothing kind of like it. The most unique aspect of this design is that there is a fan underneath the light on this side here. It is temperature activated and will come on. It's got a little bit of noise to it in a quiet room, but other than that, and you can feel it, but it's pretty quiet. The fan is also, I suspect there's not a formal water rating for this light, which is probably the biggest downside. And then you can see on the other side, that is where the light will vent as well. The light is very solid feeling in the hand. The button sits in a pretty natural place, as you can see here, right where your thumb lands, and it's got a textured bit to it, so you can kind of feel your way around it. The rest of the light is the business end here. You've got a piece of reflective coated glass. You've got a custom bezel with the 3 LEDs there. That's pretty short, and that's about it. The light tail stands, front stands on its side. I guess that's the benefit of a rectangle. Retention options. According to the manual, this light will ship with a storage bag that looks kind of like a holster. And since this is a prototype, I don't have that. I've got a lanyard here. I've got it installed, which is probably how I'll be running the light just due to its size. It is kind of nice. It's got a second ring here, so you can clip it on and make a loop easily, put it around your wrist. That way you won't lose it or anything like that, or you could clip it to another bag or something like that. Just because of the extra heft here, that's probably how I'll run it. Size and weight, I measured the light at 128 millimeters, width at 56 millimeters, and depth at 28 millimeters. Weight is 13.42 ounces or 380 grams. Like I said, it's very solid feeling, and the heft adds to that. There's no official water rating on the light. I do imagine that fan is the factor. I would imagine this will handle light rain okay, but definitely don't submerge it. I don't have a ton of lights to compare this to because I just don't have a lot of side-by-side lights, but I will bring out my Synergy 2. Obviously this is using AA's, so it's a lot smaller, but again, side by side, wise it's not that much different. I've also got this Nikkor SRT9, which one of the first good flashlights that I got, and it's a side-by-side 18650, and you can see it's considerably thinner. The light is running 3 Cree XHP70.2 LEDs in a side-by-side configuration. With my opal meter, I measured it at 5369 Kelvin tint and 65 CRI. The DUV here indicates that there is a little bit of green in the tint, which I tend to see on the more lower outputs. And this isn't that uncommon from these LEDs, but it's not overpowering and it tends to go away the brighter they get. The beam itself isn't completely round. It does have a hot spot that's kind of more of an oval. Hard to see on camera there, but I'll insert some photos of it. It's not pure flood, but it's pretty close, and there's a minimal large hot center with a significant amount of spill, and the outer edges of the light does mimic the shape of the reflector too. Output for the most part looked pretty close to what was claimed on the on my homemade Lumen tube, except for turbo. My Lumen tube, I didn't create a separate adapter for my Lumen tube to fit a rectangular light in. All I've got is circles, and I didn't feel like designing one. But so that may be where part of my losses are. Even with that, it turbo got up to about 74% of the claimed max output. I also have to mention this is a prototype, so there may be some differences there too, and it could be that programming mode, which I'll explain a little bit later too. Okay, tonight I am taking a look at the Wuben X-1 Falcon. And this is a light with 3 Cree XHP70.2 LEDs. And this is Eco Mode, 20 lumens here. It's a floody light, as you can see. Nothing too impressive. Stepping up, here is low 400 lumens. It blows out up close, but further away, you can see it lights up a large area of my backyard here, but doesn't go very far, doesn't throw very far. Here is medium, 1000 lumens. Again, lights up a big area, doesn't throw very far, but we're getting there. Here's high, 2600 lumens, and this does a fantastic job of lighting up the tree, my neighbor's backyard, but doesn't really go much beyond there. These Cree XHP70.2 LEDs are 5400 Kelvin, about 65 CRI. And here is turbo, and you can see it blows out anything close, but far away is really what you're seeing. Big flood from this light. It reaches across the street there. You can see those trees. Google says the building over there is about 985 feet, it's 500 feet, and that's 985 feet. This light's rated for 300 meters of throw. What I'm trying to say is it's about half the throw distance of what they're claiming in my experience here. This light has a fan on it. It is getting quite warm to the touch, but this turbo is just crazy. These are the same exposure settings I use for all my other videos out here. You can see how bright this is, how floody this is. That part is very impressive. Heat and runtime, let's start with turbo. For my heat and runtime tests, turbo here didn't last very long and right at a minute, and heats up pretty quickly to 47C within the same amount of time. From there it stepped down to about 2200 lumens, where it happily ran for the remainder of 2 hours of runtime. Peak heat ended up being about 55C, and I think this may have gotten a little bit hotter, but the tape stretched and didn't hold the thermocouple as tightly to the body of the light. That small internal fan here seems to be thermally reactive, not coming on until it reaches a certain temperature, instead of coming on automatically in certain higher output modes. I can't say really how much that helps overall cool the light, but I imagine it's more to cool that center LED that isn't exposed to as much of the aluminum casing and just is in the middle there. I feel like it could maybe cook and might damage the overall longevity of its life. So the fan probably helps with that. I did compare turbo to high, medium, and low, and to each other. Turbo and high were identical basically. Medium ran to 5 hours 37 minutes, just below 1000 lumens, and low ran for 12 hours 30 minutes at 2000 lumens. My light arrived in lockout mode, which is 4 presses, so 4 presses to unlock it as well. A slight press will turn it on. Long press to cycle the 4 main modes. Double press from anywhere to get to turbo. The light does have blinking modes that you can get from anywhere by triple pressing. And then you can double press again to cycle between strobe and SOS. A unique aspect of this light is it allows you to adjust the preset value of the 4 main modes by clicking and holding on the light when you ramp up, and it slightly brings the higher. So I've got it here in the lowest output. If I click, hold, you can see it slowly ramps up and then flashes, and that's at the top. And that takes it from like anywhere from 40 to 200 lumens if I remember right. It lets you basically set where you want your 4 modes to be and helps with overall mode spacing. I think it's kind of a neat feature and something you don't see other lights doing currently. And I'll put up a chart here to show the ranges that you can set. Recharging. The light uses 2 internal 21700 batteries. While not advertised, they are user replaceable pretty easily. You just remove these 4 screws. There is a gasket in there, and then the 2 batteries are easily replaced. They are flat top cells, non-protected. Mine came with with LG INR 21700 M50T cells, 5000 milliamp hours each, for a total of 10,000 milliamp hours. On the left side of the light here, you've got your USB-C port, just behind that exhaust port there. And the cover here works really well. It stays out of the way and fits nicely. And what's neat about this light is it charges at 9 volts instead of 5 volts like normal. This means it charges faster. I did a complete charge in 2 hours and 44 minutes, which is impressive considering the light has 10,000 milliamp hours of batteries inside of it, about 41 watt hours. I had no issues charging it with USB-C to C or with PD charger. This is one that's actually going to benefit from higher output chargers if you've got one. So my final thoughts are that you typically don't see a lot of side-by-side side-by-side lights, especially with larger cells like 21700s in this light. This is a hefty package, but feels solid. I like the space age kind of sci-fi look here, and it seems Wuben, really one of the only ones doing it. The X0, which I reviewed a couple of weeks ago, also is similar in design. The UI here is easy to use, and programming features of each mode is kind of cool. It lets you dial in exactly the mode spacing you want within reason. High, medium, and low had impressive runtimes, and I wish turbo lasted a little bit longer, especially with the fan and the compromises that have been made there, like in the water resistance. I really appreciate the batteries here are user replaceable with a little bit of work. That should lead to a long life, and I'm sure will be a reasonably high-priced light. It's a unique beam pattern that I found to be just fine for normal uses. The Cree XHP70.2 isn't my favorite LED, but it's not too cool here, so it's okay. So all in all, a solid offering in a different format with a modern design and something a little bit different in the flashlight. I like that Wuben took a chance here with the X1 Falcon to be different, and they made a pretty decent light out of it. So let me know what you guys think of the X1 in the comments below. And as always, I appreciate you guys for watching this video, subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next review. Thanks for watching.